Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sammy, United People's TV. What day is it? Wednesday, the 3rd of July. We had all the Dan Ashworth madness on the 1st, the Christopher Vivell stuff, and now it seems like Matthijs de Ligt really is advancing quite fast. I'm going to bring you the latest from Fabrizio Romano on de Ligt in terms of the wages, which I think for a lot of us is probably one of the biggest concerns that we have. Price-wise, it sounds like we're going to get, I'll be honest, it sounds like a pretty good price for de Ligt. We'll speak about that. We'll speak about the latest on everything. We'll speak about Dan Ashworth and Christopher Vivell's arrival, and actually have a little conversation around the recruitment system that we currently have, the scouting system that we currently have. The issue is never, and I've said this quite a few times on this channel, the issue has never really been the data. The issue has been who's been in charge of using said data. And it's exactly what Laurie Whitwell's article in The Athletic runs through. We'll speak about Joshua Zirkzee. We'll speak about everyone else. I'll just cover all the latest news. And you can let me know what you think in the comments. Who's here from the Mod Gang? Good morning to you, T. Good morning to you, Josh. I can see you there. Ant and Carl. Can't see any other names. I'm sure there's more. Plenty of green. Plenty of members, though. Alan, Off-Key, Wayne, Linton, Johnny, John. On Facebook, we've got Ray Ricks. Good morning to you. We've got Uga Chukwa. We've got Ashley. And we've got Isaiah. Good morning to all of you. Hope you enjoy the show. Please do fire in as many questions as you can, as many comments as you want to throughout the entire show. And if you enjoy it, do please drop a like on the video. And Shax, I see you there gifting 5 memberships straight away. And honestly, I planned to get these updated this morning, and then that Athletic article came out.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello.
So I ended up spending 20 minutes reading that instead. A lot of prep work does go into these. Probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours every morning. So I hope you do enjoy them. But let's start off, like we do every day, have done every day so far, the Euros, by speaking about what happened yesterday. Man, Ralph, I thought you were going to win it. That was a really enjoyable game of football. You know, so many games in this Euros that I've enjoyed the most have not been the top billing games. Austria-Turkey, I suppose on paper it could have been an exciting game. I mean, it was an exciting game, man. Georgia is probably the team I've enjoyed watching the most. But yes, quite a few. Was it France, Netherlands? I think that was one of the best games of the group stage on paper, and it was like. But yesterday, that save, Jake. I know you're not watching this. I've got a mate who's like, man, he should have done better with that header. Should have got it more into the corner. I was thinking, mate, it's like a volleyed cross over the top in the 94th minute, piercing it down. That was an unreal save. Unbelievable. 94th minute as well. People are comparing it to Gordon Banks, which I felt was a bit, that's a little bit strong. But it was a good game of football. That felt like a knockout game of football at an international tournament. It should be fun. It should be chaotic. It should be end to end. And ideally, a little bit of rain adds to it. I enjoyed the game last night, but yeah, Ralph, I think he can be happy with what he did. And I enjoyed watching Austria. I think Austria were one of the most consistent teams, but Turkey came up with 2 set-piece goals. I always find that quite funny. Not funny, really. I think I mentioned this quite a few times as well. You know how football's developed over the years? And we've had different styles, 4-4-2 at United, then 4-3-3, and then you've got the gegenpress, and then you've got tiki-taka, and you've got all these different inverted fullbacks and all these like different variations and tactics and styles of football. And then you have corners, which are exactly the same as they were in 1960. Lump it into the box and hope the big man gets his head on it. That's exactly what Turkey did. Just 2 set pieces out. And that's always what has frustrated me about how can United be so consistently crap with set pieces? It's harder to defend a set piece than it is to score from one. Score it. All you need to do is just whip a good cross in a good spot and get your head on it. Simple. When you're defending, you have to be zonal or man-to-man, whatever it is. But that save yesterday, jeez. That is the sort of save that gets you to the quarterfinal. Is that Turkey's first time in a quarterfinal? They said it was a historic game, but I can't remember. Ricky, Thank you so much as well, dude, down there. Oh, yeah, by the way, ladies and gents, the merch, we are at final stage. This is one of my favourite designs, the Ahmad one. But there's lots more. We're going to have, hopefully, one for Rude. We've got a couple for Cobby. You know how long I've been working on this, and I apologise it's taken this long. Honestly, it's not because I've just not been doing it. It's just taken me a long, long time whilst doing everything else at the same time to find the quality that I think I'd be happy with giving to you. Since 2008. Man, that's quite a long time for Turkey. Big up to you, Ricky. I'm going to say this is the last time we'll hear from Roy Keane on this one. But what do you reckon, Roy?
You know, he's annoying me. You know, the lads who do the massages.
I know what you're saying.
We're having a night out, free bar. They're bringing, then they're coming with all their mates. You're like, you're bringing your mates. You're like, relax.
It's still funny. It's still funny. Akash, you're asking whether there's going to be mugs with the merch. There will be mugs, but it won't be with the launch. We're going to be launching specifically with T-shirts and hoodies to keep it simple. And then on top of that, something I'm really looking forward to, we're going to be starting doing some posters, some like designed by us, some top quality posters. Because it's kind of a big part of the channel, a big part of the look, isn't it? I've always had Stan Chow's posters in the background. Soon we're going to have United People's TV ones. But look, as well as the Euros, on top of that, you've got the quarterfinals for Copa America. Argentina are playing Ecuador, Colombia against Panama. Uruguay, Brazil will be quite a fun one to watch if you can be bothered to stay up to 2 in the morning. I don't think I will. I might watch the highlights next day. And Venezuela are playing Canada. So that is the quarterfinals. What's our interest? We've got Martinez and we've got Garnacho with Argentina. I can't remember whether John Luchumi was injured. Oh, he got injured in the first game for Colombia. I don't know whether he's still injured. Uruguay, we've got Manuel Ugarte. Can't remember who else we got. Probably some players I missed. Anyway, I do not think I'll be staying up to watch those games. Now, I've spoken quite a lot. And in fact, my video yesterday, which I will speak about a little bit later, I spoke about all the personnel changes that have happened behind the scene. It's like 12, 13 overall when you look at all the people who have left and all the people who have come in to replace them. And then you've got Carrington and what's going on at Carrington. And you've got the Old Trafford task force, which is deciding whether to refurbish Old Trafford or to build a new one. And then on top of that is this. It kind of feels like everywhere you look at Manchester United, Pellistri, of course, sorry. My bad. Sorry about Pellistri. Anyway. It feels like kind of no matter what direction you look at Manchester United, whether it's a small change or whether it's a big change, there's change. And this strikes me as I went on Twitter and I said this. So basically, Old Trafford Tunnel, you know where the Old Trafford Tunnel is, where the players walk out. It's getting changed and updated. And this is what it currently looks like. you know when you look at that and you're like, I've never really thought about it, if I'm being totally honest. But just looking at that, it's just... So it's just a retractable, like, festival tent. You're thinking, right, okay. But it's already been pulled out. So that's it there. And presumably Manchester United are going to build natural structure. And this is what I said about it yesterday on Twitter, right? Because ultimately it's not a massive thing. There's no way I'm going to be doing a whole video on Manchester United changing the tunnel. But as far as a marginal gain goes, it's probably a perfect definition of it. Right now, the gains at Manchester United aren't marginal. You're bringing in a new sporting director. You're bringing in a new CEO. You're bringing in maybe 2 new assistants. It's a lot. This is the perfect example of a marginal change. Actually building a tunnel where the players have been walking out of that tunnel. Bruno's been there for a few years and he knows what the tunnel looks like. He will walk out of it now and go, this is new. Akash is saying so we can rule out a new stadium. No, this is the marginal gain. That's going to cost, I mean, I don't know how much that would cost. 100 grand, couple of 100 grand? No idea. Either way, it's a small change that might make 1% difference. And it might not make any difference at all, but it will certainly feel refreshed for the players. They go, well, this isn't what was here last season. And maybe that'll make them remember just as a guy. Sod knows. Anyway, get some Stan Chow artwork up in the tunnel. Get some United People's TV logos over there, over there. No, don't think I'll be winning any football games. I'm not doing a tunnel deep dive. What's the name of the dude who digs the tunnels? Colin Furs? On YouTube. Man, I've watched all those videos. He's digging a whole tunnel. If you haven't watched it, go and watch him. He just digs. He's just dug a whole tunnel underneath his house. Pre-season starts on the 15th. As if. Go away. Go away. I can't be bothered with pre-season, man. But I'll get up for it. I'll get excited for it. Anyway, pre-season. Stop talking about pre-season. Let's talk about transfers first, and let's talk about this man. Because Matthijs de Ligt is certainly the one that is advancing the most, and so well over the last week or so. Still the only player that we put an official bid in for was Jared Branthwaite, as far as I know. Now, you might be following the press or what the Italian press are saying or what the French press are saying, but it's just all whispers and in the know, right? Matthijs de Ligt, the bid isn't in yet, but Manchester United are advancing very, very fast, very well through it. I'd explain what the latest is from Fabrizio Romano, and then, we'll have a conversation. So Fabrizio is saying this, because Matthijs de Ligt has given the green light to Manchester United. Traffic light, green light, there you go. After direct contacts with his camp, so Ten Hag, I believe, spoke to him on the phone. Personal terms are not an issue, as his agent is only negotiating with Manchester United. That is a priority for him if he was to leave, up to Manchester United and Bayern Munich. And this is what Fabrizio had to say because for a lot of us, the wages are probably the biggest concern about Matthijs de Ligt. And people are going to be like, well, how much is Martinez on? Martinez on 125 grand a week. Well, that's easy then. The only thing you can give him is 125 grand a week to match. And it just doesn't make logical sense. Manchester United signed Lisandro Martinez from Ajax, where his wages were significantly lower. So going up to 125 was a wage increase. Matthijs de Ligt is on big-ass money. He's on like 250, and this is what happens when you sign players from these big clubs. It's why Jadon Sancho, we can't bloody sell him for £2. Matthijs de Ligt's going to have to take a pay cut to come to Manchester United. And that is what Fabrizio Romano is not saying that in essence, but he's saying that, look, he's guaranteeing, his words, not mine, that the wages won't be a problem.
But I can guarantee to you that the contract is not going to be a problem. De Ligt is on a big salary at Bayern, but Manchester United know that the player is keen on the move, and the player will not create an issue in the salary negotiation. So
Fabrizio there is saying that the salary is simply not going to be a problem with De Ligt, which would signal a real intent that he does want to join Manchester United. Because Harry Maguire, for example, when he was linked to West Ham, it was the flip reverse, wasn't it? Oh, it's not the flip reverse, in fact, it was the exact same thing. They were trying to sign him from Manchester United, where the wages were bigger. Harry Maguire wasn't willing to take the pay cut to West Ham unless Manchester United paid him out on the gap of the contract. And Man United said, no, it's not happening. So Maguire stayed. Fabrizio there is saying that De Ligt's wages, sure, he's going to have to take a pay cut, but it's not going to be a problem, is what he's suggesting. Now, my honest opinion on what I think would work, well, it doesn't really matter whether it works for me, but I think Manchester United should be offering Matthijs de Ligt around about 175, 180,000 a week, but build in bonuses. In the exact same way that I don't really care that we're going to have to pay Chelsea another £5 million if we win the Champions League. Fine, have it. We just won the Champions League with the player you sold to us. Thank you very much. Give De Ligt 175 grand a week and put bonuses into his contract. If you, I don't know, if you can, whatever the bloody bonuses are, if you win the Premier League, you'll get another 40 grand a week across the year. You'll get a bonus at the end of it. These players need to be incentivized to succeed. It's standard. It's so standard in not just in football, but in any job. You'll have base salary, and if you're working in sales, you'll have on-target earnings. Meaning you're going to be on a salary of 40 grand a year, but if you do your job properly and you earn the money that you should be earning, you'll be earning 70, 80 grand a year. Everyone wins. I'm going to see what you're saying down here. It's just basic. And I think at United, we've basically given too much without the need for somebody to earn that money. So what's the point? Even if I have the most incredible year as a footballer and I have the worst year where I really don't care and I get the same amount of money. If money is the driver, and it is for some people, then why am I going to put the extra work in? Like Alexis Sanchez came in, got the money and went, whew, jeez. If my check could lean back, I'd lean back right now. That's what he did. Let me see what you're saying down here. Yeah, and appearance bonuses, I think, would be slightly... I mean, it depends. And this is why you have contract negotiators. Who have we got? What's his name? We brought him in from Adidas. Is it Matt Hargreaves? I think it might be Matt Hargreaves. This is the sort of thing that it takes a person to actually do this as a full-time job because there's so much intricacy into it. Let me see what you're saying down here, wages. 180k is too much for me, says Madhouse. I doubt very much you're going to get him for lower than that. And Maguire, how much is Maguire on? Can't be that far off that. Martinez is on less, but as I said, when you're signing a player from a club who's smaller than you, it's easier to bump the wages up than it is to sign a player from like Real Madrid or... I mean, look, Casemiro, how much did he get? Varane, how much did he get? Because they both came from Real Madrid. 160 rising to 200 when we get back into the Champions League, someone said down there. Fitness reduction in wages. I think that will be probably a tougher negotiation, but I don't know. I'm fine with it being somewhere in the region of 175-ish and add bonuses into it. If we get back into the Champions League, that'll get bumped up to 200 grand a week and you'll get that as a bonus at the end of the season. If we win the Premier League, we're not. But you know what I mean? Build these bonuses in. Clean sheet bonus. Maybe that works. Either way, it's just incentivize any player that we sign from now on to succeed rather than just existing as a Manchester United player, which is pretty much every single thing that happens. Colin, apparently the little bugs come back about the sound on the full screen. I've no idea why. But it honestly is a bug. It's not a problem. It's just sometimes the volume decides to lower when I go full screen and then come back here. I've looked into it. I've tried to fix it. I've got no idea what it is, honestly. But it's a bug, basically. I could restart the software and it'll be fine. So, sorry about that. Nothing I can do. Ain't nothing I can do. As long as he's not on more than Bruno. I mean, he will be on more than Bruno, won't he? What is Bruno even on? I have no idea. Let's have a quick look. Right. Oh, yeah, well, he's not going to be on more than Bruno. He ain't going to be on more than Bruno. Right. This is what it's saying. Casemiro, we know he's on big money. But he's gone. Well, hopefully he's gone. Hopefully he's gone. Now someone knows, whatever it is. Honestly, people, I've tried to fix this sound issue. It's not there sometimes. It's there other times. It's totally intermittent. Let's move on. Casemiro's on 350 grand a week. I still want to sell Casemiro quite badly this summer. Varane's already gone. Rashford could be going if the right bid comes in, but it looks like PSG are more interested in signing Kvaratskhelia from Napoli, and I can't really blame him for that. And that's not just because of what he did at the Euros. Martial's gone already. Mason Mount's on wedge. So Mason Mount shouldn't be on that much money, man. Really shouldn't. Anyway, Bruno, yeah, fine. Anthony on 200 grand. Like, why did we need to pay Anthony 200 grand? Why? We signed it from Ajax. Is it relative to the amount of money that you pay for them? Is that how negotiations work? I have no idea. But we signed Martinez, and he's down there, 120 grand a week. But Anthony's on 200. Anthony's on nearly double what Martinez is on. And we signed both from Ajax. That's a weird one. That's a real weird one. Must have had a pretty good agent in the negotiation on that one. Jeez. Mount and Anthony are the ones that maybe go head scratcher. But look, let's go back to De Ligt. Right, let's go back to De Ligt. I'm going to pull up this little hype video. Why not? Look at this. This is Matthijs de Ligt, I believe, back when he was an Ajax player, speaking to the Ajax fans after a game. It's a bit loud, that. Jeez. You're all going to complain about that in the comments as well. I think that's something that's sort of said about De Ligt quite a lot is his leadership skills. Always had that when he was a young player at Ajax, and he's carried that through. And it's certainly one area where Manchester United have been weak for a long, long time. Actually having players that have presence and authority. I have no idea what you're saying. What have I just pulled up? Oh, God. Oh, dear. If there's any Dutch people in the comments, let me know. Who have I just offended? Anyway. So we're going to be doing a profile video on De Ligt probably around about Monday or so. Okay? And that's going to be where we look at the strengths, we look at the weaknesses, we look at his career so far, we look at the concerns. I've already done not deep dive, I've done my full story on him. And I think he would be a very good signing. I think I would, right? My only concerns are, I have concerns about injuries. I have concerns about wages, but I don't think wages will be an issue. People are saying that, oh, Man United can't possibly play in a high line with De Ligt and Martinez, and I think it's a bit strange. It is a bit strange. But let's see how this one goes, because Fabrizio has confirmed on more than one occasion now, wrong one, that Man United are leading the race. And what you're saying, changes are ringing around the club now. Time to begin again. Time we became the start of the journey again, not the destination. I like that. Alexis Sanchez is just a perfect example of that. Of how I do not think Man United will ever make a worse signing than Alexis Sanchez, just for so many reasons. The ripple effect of Alexis Sanchez signing for our club, we're still reeling from it. We're still reeling from it, man. But you see this as well. Bit random. Some Bayern Munich fans have started a petition. Don't sell him. What do they say down here? We still want Matthijs de Ligt to stay at Bayern Munich. He has proven that he's a world-class defender, probably the best in our squad. This guy likes him. There's a reason why he was elected our best player of the year. Didn't know that. Is that his first season at the club? He was voted player of the season. Interesting. Interesting. De Ligt was nowhere really near if we go back to the whiteboard, which again, we still haven't been able to properly use. Oh, I say that. I have been using it a fair bit, but I want to be using this whiteboard more. We've got Branthwaite and De Ligt there at the top, but we were linked with, type yes or no in the comments here, right? Do you think Manchester United would be going after Matthijs de Ligt in the same way we are if we could sign Jean-Claire Todibo? Or do you see de Ligt as the next name that was on the list past Todibo? Because I think we spoke a lot more about Jean-Claire Todibo going into this summer, early this summer. We all thought that it was pretty much he was the right centre-back that we were going to sign. It kind of strikes me, you know how people are talking about de Ligt being an alternative to Branthwaite? I'll speak about Branthwaite next. I personally think that de Ligt is more of an alternative to Todibo than he is an alternative to Branthwaite. I see down there, the majority of you are saying no. Got a few of you are saying, yeah, I think we would still be going after him. But I just think what we're witnessing here is Manchester United, in my opinion, having backups, having alternatives, genuine alternatives to targets that we want, and moving swiftly between them, which is something we have not done in a long old time. I don't know. Let's see. But in terms of Branthwaite, right, the consensus is pretty clear on Branthwaite. Right, this is from Chris Wheeler, saying that Man United actually want to sign both de Ligt and Branthwaite. Manchester United we need two centre-backs this summer. We absolutely need two centre-backs. We need to see Victor Lindelof sold. Linked with Fenerbahce. Everton have been linked with him. Nothing really happening on the Lindelof front. Wan-Bissaka, West Ham were apparently linked with him. They were interested. Galatasaray and Everton, nothing really much happening there. Sancho, de nada. Really, this is still probably the part of the window where I'm frustrated with. It's like, what is going on, man, with selling players? Get rid. And maybe this will all speed up now that Dan Ashworth's coming. But Chris Wheeler here saying that Man United want to sign both Todibo, both de Ligt and Branthwaite, but it's all around the price. We know that, you know that, right? I don't think Everton are going to agree at the price that we would be willing to buy at. Personal opinion. And I think he'll stay at Everton, and Man United will probably go in for him next season. That's what I think. So I'll read a few of your comments out down here. What would you be happier with, a de Ligt and Todibo or Branthwaite and Todibo? I would probably say, I don't know, actually. It's quite a good question, really. I think that's quite a hard one. Branthwaite, of course, has got the ability to play both left centre-back and right centre-back. Now, I think that versatility and quality, and actually probably can play as an auxiliary left-back if you need to, would be something that really helps Man United next season. Because we're going to get injured. As it stands, even if we sign de Ligt and Todibo, and Martinez gets injured, who's playing left centre-back? Maybe Luke Shaw. Then who's playing left-back? We have no alternative right now, viable alternative, to Lisandro Martinez. And I think if we do sign a second centre-back past de Ligt, it may well be Branthwaite, because he can play both. Or if it's not Branthwaite, it might have to be somebody who can play both. Calafiori, he's getting linked with Arsenal now, I think. Harry Maguire, I think Harry Maguire should be sold this summer. I think Victor Lindelof should be sold this summer. I'm telling you, I want 5 centre-backs at Manchester United next season. We've got Martinez, and if we've got, say we have de Ligt, hypothetical, Martinez and de Ligt. You've got Willy Cambuala as the third. Maybe you can't really sell Maguire and Lindelof then, because then you need 2 more centre-backs. And maybe next season you're looking at Martinez, de Ligt, Maguire, Cambuala, and 1 more signing. And there's your 5 options. Potential. Maybe we do have to keep one of Maguire or Lindelof. And if we're keeping one of Maguire or Lindelof, it's an easy question. We're keeping Maguire and Lindelof is being sold. But we can't keep both of them. That's why I think so anyway. Now, in terms of the other transfers and other players we're getting linked with, there's not really much of an update on Joshua Zirkzee. And I know people would want an update on him, but there's just whispers coming out of Italy. That's all this is. Right? I don't even know who Rudy Galletti is. It's just basically one of those like in the nose, like Tancredi Palmieri. Just one of those. There is no conversation about Johnny Evans. Yeah, is there? Tom Heaton signed a contract yesterday, 1 year, which I'm fine with. I'll speak about that next. But don't know. They're saying that AC Milan have pulled out of any sort of move for Zirkzee, which we've kind of. It feels to me that if AC Milan were going to sign Joshua Zirkzee, it kind of feels like they would have done it by now. I don't know. That's what I think so anyway. They obviously don't want to pay the money to his agent, the 10, 15, and United won't want to pay it either. And maybe United are able to negotiate that down in a way that AC Milan aren't able to. Don't know. Quite a few of you talking about Johnny Evans down there. As I said, we've got... Oh, one second. I'll speak about that next. Where did it go? Over here? Bring it over here. Get over here. We've got confirmation here that Tom Heaton signed a 1-year contract extension. And Johnny Evans may well be given the same offer. And I'm not going to be deeply offended by that. I personally would like to see Manchester United have the ability to let Evans go into a coaching position, sell Harry Maguire, sell Victor Lindelof, and bring in 2, if not 3 centre-backs. But people are telling me that, where has Evans been offered a 1-year contract? I haven't seen that anywhere worthy. Where are you reading this? Let's find out. Johnny Evans, 1-year contract. Nope. Where is it? What about that from 4 hours ago? Where's reporting this? So, this is where it's coming from, I believe. There we go. Let's pull this up. Look at that, a little bit of research. So this is Sky Sports, Dalmesh Share saying talks are ongoing between United and Johnny Evans over a 1-year contract extension. I'm not going to be offended by it. I really am not. And when you look at as I said, the idea that Man United could sell Maguire, sell Lindelof, and let Evans go, and bring in everything that we need, would probably be very difficult to do in one season. Let's find out. In an ideal world, I think Johnny Evans will move into a coaching role. But maybe Johnny Evans next season will play in the actual way that we thought he would play this year, and actually be like the 5th choice centre-back, and actually not play that much. Whereas last season, who played most out of our centre-backs last season? I don't even know. I'm guessing it was Harry Maguire. Obviously, Martinez would have had the least minutes as a centre-back. Varane? Lindelof hardly played in the second half of the season. I'm guessing Johnny Evans must have been right up there. I have no idea though. Probably Maguire overall, I think. Anyway, this is a little bit of an interesting one because we weren't heavily linked with Khéphren Thuram, but Khéphren Thuram was one of the players who we were tentatively linked with in midfield. But Fabrizio's given it the here we go yesterday, joining Juve for 20 million euros plus 5 mil in add-ons. Seems like a pretty fair price deal. That's about the money that we would have to pay if Amrabat does come back to the club. His loan's expired, so I don't think he's a Fiorentina player again now, isn't he? But I believe the price was roughly around about 20 million euros. So Khéphren Thuram now, go back to the whiteboard. He's there on the midfielders. That's not been updated. Why is that not updated? Too many things going on. There you go. She's updated now. She's got a cross, and Catherine Tram drops to the bottom of the midfielders list. Might be a great signing for Juve. May well be a great signing. Speaking of signings, segue, right? The last part of the show here, I want to speak about, first of all, the video I did yesterday, but also leading that into the article that's been released this morning by Laurie Whitwell. A really in-depth article speaking about Man United's recruitment setup, who's in charge of what, and the problems that have come before when it comes to talent ID and acting on it, right? So yesterday I did this video on our new setup. I've spoken about all the changes that are happening at our football club. It is the year of change. There will not be a year where there is this much change in our football club again. 2024 is absolutely the year of change. We'll look back at it and go, this. Remember that year? That's when that's when the ship finally started turning in a different direction. Omar Barada there in the middle as the CEO. I think Omar Barada personally isn't going to be as directly important to Manchester United as a football team as Dan Ashworth is. And it's not to say that he's not going to have an impact, because he absolutely will. But as CEO, he's going to sit at the top and make sure that the business is connected to the football team. He's going to he's going to do what. So Dan Ashworth considers himself the man in the middle of the wheel, making sure everybody's got everything they need to do in the football team. Omar Barada's going to do that, but on a level above. He's going to link all the corporate stuff into the football team. He's actually probably going to be leading the push for the multi-club model as well, which may be where Christopher Vivell comes into it too. The latest on Vivell is that it's already done. Work permit, I think, is the last thing that needs to be agreed. And there'll probably be an announcement. This week, we may well, in fact, I'd be surprised if there wasn't. Matt, I believe Manchester United's first players are due back at Carrington on Monday or Tuesday. And they're going to be the players who weren't involved in international duty. So I'm guessing the likes of Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, is he coming back? Don't even know. There's quite a few players. But before that, I would expect there to be 4 announcements from the club. Let's find this. That's what I think. I think there'll be an announcement on Ten Hag's new contract. And maybe at the same time, there'll be an announcement about Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in as assistant manager, Rennie Hacker coming in as assistant manager, and also for Christopher Vivell to come in as recruitment director. So I think there's 4 official announcements that we should get by this time next week. Like, July is going to be the month at this club for getting everybody in place, and also transfers. So maybe we're going to get some here we goes, and we'll come here live and direct. Akash saying, have you read the stuff on Matt Judge's antics by over-promoting his pals from finance to the scouting department? I've read it. I'm going to read through it now. Somebody down there getting angry that I didn't give credit to Mark Critchley. Sorry, JP Meredith. I'll give him credit as well. I must have missed a name. Don't get offended. Anyway, the article. Look, the problem at Manchester United has never been the scouting, which you might disagree with as a statement. But the problem has never been the scouting. The problem has been the data when it comes in. Okay, who's in charge of making the decision here? Who's actually making the call on whether we act on this data? That's been the biggest problem, which Christopher Vivell should come in and sort. Bags of experience being the recruitment specialist both at Salzburg and Leipzig, not just at first team level, but also at youth level. Man United's scouting system is huge. I'm not saying that it's never been a problem. The fact that last year, I think we rejigged it in terms of who was in charge of what, the scouts regionally, and globally. I don't think the data has been the biggest problem at all at Manchester United. Has it been perfect? Probably not. Could it be improved? Probably. But the biggest issue has been who's making the decision or who's not making the decision. And I absolutely will stand by that. Let me read some comments down here. John Terry played left centre-back, right-footed for his whole career. That's really good to know, Joe. Alex, you're saying I want an Avengers Assembly press conference. Man, there are quite a lot. And Joe, you wanted me to make sure that I read out your super chat about John Terry. I don't care about John Terry. That makes absolutely no difference to... I personally think Erik ten Hag goes a little bit too far. I think Louis van Gaal did the same, didn't he? About passing angles, about left-sided centre-back being left-footed, about right-sided centre-back being right-footed. It certainly helps, but it's not impossible. Anyway, I want to speak through a couple of points that have been raised here. So, in fact, there you go. I forgot I highlighted this bit. So, not my opinion. This is from Lyndon Tomlinson, who was United's assistant head of academy recruitment for 4 years. So, from the inside, this is what he said, having worked at Manchester United for 4 years. I think it's just being decisive and getting things over the line. That was always the problem. In terms of the scouting and the structure we had in system, you look at Garnacho, it was good. The reports were there. The process was there. We were just being let down at the end of it. That's why I left. Ultimately, I was getting frustrated that we were doing reports, traveling here and everywhere. We were making recommendations and nothing was happening. So, from a man who worked at the club for 4 years, we did our part. Nothing ever happened. And there's so many examples in this article. It would really frustrate you, actually. This one here properly makes you scratch your head. All right? Benjamin Sesko. Before he goes to Salzburg, Man United find out. They've got their information. They've got their contract. Okay, what? Okay, so they've offered €2 million to sign him. All right, lads, I've got an idea. Let's go and offer €1 million. But Matt, that's half of what the offer... No, let's go in at €1 million. I mean, I'm guessing Matt Judge might think, anybody will want to join Manchester United. We can swing it round. But the bit in yellow just makes it even worse. When the matter was taken directly to Matt Judge, he increased the offer from €1 million to €1.1 million. And then went a week later and went, I think we need to, let's bring that up to €1.2 million. But it is laughable. It's properly laughable. First of all, 800 grand for Manchester United is minor. But, I mean, that is not how you negotiate. It's like you... Well, actually, I can tell you this, really. I got an offer. I say I got an offer. Me and Susie, big up Susie. We got an offer accepted on our first house. 2 weeks ago? No, last week. After a lot of negotiating back and forth. That's very exciting. That's going to be a busy old few months coming up. But as part of the negotiations, if an offer went in, and I knew an offer was in for X amount of money, and I go in with a lesser offer, and what, am I thinking that my offer is going to get accepted? No, I'm not. But that's what Matt Judge did. And that's a big reason why he got booted out of the club. Another example here, which I think is quite striking. I think this one's one of the worst ones. Right? One of the worst ones. So Manchester United signed Hannibal for £10 million as a 16-year-old, which is a lot. And I never knew this info. Hannibal was invited to Carrington for trials during the 2017 season while he was still with a French amateur club. And he impressed so much the academy staff believed that he absolutely had to be signed. That interest, however, was not acted upon. Hannibal's agents and parents chased up United, telling him that we're going to go to Monaco if you don't act. He went to Monaco. And Man United then spent £10 million signing him the next summer. So he was available for free after coming on trial. Man United were told, basically, they were like, sign my son. Sign him. We want you to sign him. For like free. Instead, Monaco went in there, and then a year later, we paid £10 million for it. It's laughable. It's genuinely laughable. And this is that there are so many different examples of players that we spotted. Pedro Neto is a 17-year-old from Braga. Sesko there, who we spoke about. Haaland, who was linked with before. And now Hannibal here. It's just... Yeah, Musiala as well is named in the article. Musiala, who was a former Chelsea player, was told by multiple scouts for Manchester United, you've got to be looking at this player. And nobody acted on it. And it's about roles and responsibility, ladies and gents. And it's about the people that we haven't had. We've created the scouting system. We've got all the data. We've never really had the person to act on it, the person to lead it. And I think it's kind of partly people are scared of making a mistake, so they'd rather not make a decision than make a decision that might reflect badly on him. I'm not saying the scouting at Manchester United is perfect, all right? But there are countless examples in this article by Mark Critchley and Laurie Whitwell about all the times Man United scouts identified these talents before they were expensive signings anywhere, and Man United simply never acted on them. That's the issue. It's the decisiveness to act. And maybe that's because we didn't have anybody who was empowered enough to make that decision, and it had to go the whole way up to Joel Glazer, and it got blocked, and that's why it took so long. Yeah, Jordan, it's shocking. It really, really is shocking. And that Hannibal one is particularly bad, in my opinion. Came to the club, wanted the club to sign him. His parents were ringing the club saying, sign him. They said no. They didn't act. He went to Monaco. Man United went, made a mistake there. A year later, you paid 10 mil for it. Weird. Really weird. Stevie sent a super chat there saying, I'm confused about the extra investment from Jim Ratcliffe. Does that mean our budget is bigger or debt smaller? It's more the latter. I've read through all of it. Kieran Maguire is indicating that it was 1.3 million in total for the 100 shares rather than 100 shares worth 1.3 mil. So I don't think that actually dramatically affects anything. I might have got it wrong. I spoke about that yesterday. But any money he puts in will pretty much be to improve the bottom line of Manchester United, improve the cash flow. It won't be about, oh, great, we've got an extra 50 mil. If Jim Ratcliffe was to put 50 mil into the club tomorrow, I doubt very much it would go towards a signing. And you mentioned it down there as well, mate. Haaland is just... I believe the reason Manchester United... I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer told Man United about Haaland before he joined Salzburg. And then even when Manchester United wanted Haaland from Salzburg, we then didn't, if I remember correctly, we refused to accept a release clause in Haaland's contract. And that was the reason he went to Dortmund. Is that what it was? I think it was that. But either way, if you want to read it, let me drop a link down here for you. It's a frustratingly fascinating article. That's what I would call it. It just, man, my God, Man United's recruitment, it's just the people in charge of it, the people at the top of it have just been so bad. And that is now a thing of the past. We've already got Dan Ashworth in, done. In 10 days, we're going to have Omar Barada in. Done. And I would guess within the next 7 days, we are going to have Vivelin. So we're going to have a recruitment director, a sporting director, and a CEO, all with experience, vast experience in football and recruitment. This is where things change. Because I've always said, I've always maintained, you can pretty much match the success of a football club with the success of what they do in the transfer window. It's always been the case. If you nail a transfer window and you bring in two or three new players every summer that really have an impact on your team, after 3 seasons or so, boy, have you got a team that can compete. Because you've nailed it in the market. It's a big reason why Klopp was so successful. Salah coming in, and Mane coming in, and Firmino coming in, and Van Dijk coming in, and Addison coming in, and Robertson. I mean, how many? You can list it off. You can do the same thing at City. Clubs succeeding means they need to nail it in the market. We've been crap and wasted $1 billion. The two things are totally correlated. That should change this summer. In an ideal world, we would have had all 3 of these in about a month and a half ago. Planning and preparing. But it still does feel that Manchester United are acting differently. And it looks like Matthijs de Ligt at this moment in time is the most advanced. Joshua Zirkzee, we know what the release clause is. We know he'll join. The problem is the commission. But I think United want to be going for a centre-back first. I'm going to read some of your questions out down here to end the show, as always. If you can, please do drop a like in the video. Mate, Brighton, talking about Brighton's recruitment. They're going big. I think they just had 30 mil bid rejected for Leeds striker. Can't remember his name. They just signed Minte from Newcastle for 30 mil. I believe they're going after Matthijs now. Remember, their coach now is the 31-year-old. Man, I'm only going to say this once. If you want to fill this chat up with conversation about Greenwood, mods, just boot and ban people, man. I can't be asked. You know my position on that. And there's absolutely no way that a live chat, when we're talking transfers, is a place for this conversation. So if I can ask, please don't entertain this conversation, mods. Just kick them. All right? We're trying to talk about football here. I'm not trying to talk about what Greenwood did. Never want him near my football club ever again. How's that for an opinion? How's that for sitting on the fence? Get in the bin. Go and be successful elsewhere, Mason. I do not begrudge or wish any ill will on his football career, but I do not ever want to see him wearing a Manchester United shirt again. Is that clear enough for you? Good. It's just annoying. Mate, it's been in the comments for like 15, 20 minutes. Don't go back and forth. Sod this shit. It's annoying. Anyway, don't need to answer any questions at the end of this show. But De Ligt, let's find out. Hopefully I'm coming here with a here we go at some point soon. I do think it'll be a good signing. I have questions. I've got questions about every signing. I'm not sure there's a signing that Man United can make this summer. That I would go, oh, that's a perfect signing. There's always questions about any signing. All right. But De Ligt, we'll speak about him when the update comes. And we'll speak about Zirkzee and Ugarte maybe and anybody else. Thank you all for tuning in. I will be here tomorrow. And lunchtime today, there might be a special video on Vivel. Maybe. And if not, tomorrow. But maybe today. Take it easy, everyone.